Welcome to Lesson 7-4. In this lesson, we are going to focus on how to calculate compound interest as well as how to work with some basic growth and decay formulas for exponential functions. In video 1, we're going to take a look at the compound interest formula. Now, this may be one of the most, if not the most, practical uses of math that you're going to see this year in our Algebra 1 course. Compound interest is used to figure out how much money you are making in a savings account or how much money you are paying on a loan. So it's something that you're really going to see in everyday use of. So let's make sure that we're paying close attention as we go through this video. The compound interest formula is on your formula sheet. Now, it can be a little overwhelming to look at. It is a large formula with a lot of different letters, but don't worry, we're going to go ahead and break this down so that we can understand what each piece means. So A is going to represent the amount accumulated after n periods of time. So basically what that means is after you put in the money for however many years at whatever rate, this is going to be the money that you are getting back from that account. P is going to represent the principal. What the principal is the amount that you are initially investing. So whatever money you are starting the account with would be your principal. R is going to be your annual interest rate. This is how much you are earning on your account for just having your money in the bank. Now, these are usually given to you as a percentage. We will change them to a decimal as we are working with them in the formula. N is going to be the number of times per year interest is compound. Now, this can be a little bit tricky because they don't always give it to you as a straight number. Sometimes they might use words like quarterly or monthly or yearly, and you have to think about what that means as to how many times a year it is. Finally, T is going to be the length of the term measured in years. So however many years you are investing your money, that is going to be what you plug in for T. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few examples, and let's go ahead and see how we can calculate compound interest. So, for all three examples, A, B, and C, we're going to use the following base. We're going to deposit $1,600 in our bank account, and we want to find the balance 3 years after we have put the money in. So if we look at A, we're looking at an account that pays 2.5% annual interest rate, compounded monthly. So those are the two important things that we are going to want to really highlight as we're going through these, because they're going to be numbers that we need to plug into our formula. So I'm going to scroll up just a little bit so that we can still see our formula. Now, A is the amount that's going to be left in the account. We don't know what that is right now, so we're just going to leave it as A. P is going to be the amount that we started with. So we are starting with that $1,600 that I have highlighted in green there. So we're going to put $1,600. We then put our parentheses, and we're always going to put that 1 there no matter what anything else is. That's always going to be a constant 1. Then we're going to add. Now this is where we have to do just a little bit of thinking. We have to change 2.5% to a decimal. So remember, to change something to a decimal, you move the decimal point to the left 2 times. So we're going to need a filler 0 there, and our decimal point will be right there. So that is going to be 0.0225 all over the number of times per year. Now, we are told that it is monthly. We have to think about how many months are there in a year. Well, we all know that there are 12 months in the year, so our n is going to be 12. And we'll plug that in both there and at the top of our exponent. We plug in the n to 2 different places. That's something that's a little bit different. And then we're going to plug in our t, our time. This is the number of years that we're investing. We were told in the base problem that that was going to be 3 years. So we're going to put a 3 there. Now, what we would highly recommend you doing is from here, plug it into your calculator. As long as you plug in everything exactly how it looks on our screen right now, your calculator will give you the right answer. Now, some things to be careful to pay attention to. Make sure you put your parentheses where they're supposed to be. Make sure you use your fraction key for that fraction inside the parentheses. And then make sure both your n and the t and the exponent are up in the top of your calculator. Make sure that you haven't hit over and gone away from the exponent at all. But as long as you type those into your calculator exactly what you see, then you will be getting the right answer for these. Now, when I plugged this into my calculator, I got that this came out to be $1,724. And we're talking about money, so anytime we're talking about money, we go to 2 decimal places. And actually, I made a typo there. That's not 2. I got 48. So after 3 years, investing $1,600 for 3 years at 2.5% meant that I would have $17.24 left in my account. So I can see that I've actually earned about $124 just for keeping my money in that bank. So let's take a look at how this is going to be affected by plugging in some different values. So we're going to look at another account that is going to pay 1.75% annual interest, but it's going to be compounded quarterly. So I'm going to start out with the exact same process. A is what I'm looking for, and then I'm going to plug in the starting amount, which I'm starting with the same amount, the $1,600. I'm going to still have the 1 plus, and now this is where things are going to start to change a little bit. I am given 1.75%, and I need to change this to a decimal, so I'm going to move the decimal 2 places to the left. I'm again going to have to put that filler 0 in there, so I get 0.0175 divided by quarterly means 4 times a year. If you think about a quarter, there are 4 quarters in the dollar that make up that full dollar. So our N is going to be 4, so I'm going to plug it in at the bottom and at the top. And then my T is still going to be 3 years because I'm still investing it for the same amount of time. Again, I'm going to type it into my calculator, and I'm going to find that I'm going to get $1,686.05. So, what we can see so far, we've invested this money for 3 years in both of these accounts. We've had different interest rates and different amounts of times per year. So far, it looks like we'd be better off investing in option A because we're going to get more money than what we would get with option B. Now let's go ahead and look at part C. So you're probably getting used to the drill right now. We're going to have A, and we're going to have the 1,600 that we start with. We're going to have the 1 plus. Now this time it is 4% interest. So I'm going to move the decimal 2 places. So I'm going to have 0.04. And this time it's compounded yearly. Now this can throw some people off just because we tend to overthink things. If something happens yearly, that means it's happening just 1 time a year. So my N is going to just simply be 1. And I'm going to plug in a 1 both on the bottom and as the first part of my exponent. I'm going to multiply that 1 times our T, which is still the 3 that we've had. And I'm going to plug this into my calculator. When I plugged this into my calculator, I found that this was $1,799.78. So all 3 of these were invested for 3 years. They were compounded at different rates, and they're going to be compounded at different interests. And we can see that of these 3, C would be the one that we would earn the most money in. Now that's not necessarily tied to how many times a year it's compounded. It's not necessarily tied to just the percentage. It's going to really depend on the combination. So you never really know until you plug it into the formula and you know for sure. Now we do have one U-Try problem for you guys to go ahead and give an attempt. Go ahead and do this U-Try problem, check your answers, and then come back and see us for video 2. Alright, see you guys then.